students. Welcome to the Modern Yoga channel. We're going to be doing a yoga flow today. So this flow today is for you if you have never done yoga before, if you're nervous to go to a studio or don't want to try it out at a gym and you want to do it at home. I'm really coming from a place of I am so new. I'm so brand new. So I want to go over a few yoga stuff with you before we start to move, if that's cool with you. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Laura, by the way. Today's going to be a basic flow, and you'll know what that means by the time I'm done with my little spiel. We're going to go over some foundational postures. We're going to breathe together. We're going to end with a little bit of a meditation, and then we'll call it a day. Okay, so there is a playlist, a Spotify playlist connected to this flow. It's in the comment, or it's in the description below. I'll tell you when to start that. So if you want to flow with some music, which I totally recommend, turn that on. If you're in a really crowded house and there's like a dog, cats, kids, moms, dads, people running around, I recommend earphones. It's almost like you're putting in a virtual reality, like, and you're kind of not addressing what's going on around you. So if there's tons of stimulation going on around you, you may want headphones. I live in a very public space. Right outside, there's like a coffee shop and a surf shop. So you may hear people from time to time in the background. It's just because I live in a really public space. Okay, so this is your first yoga class. And I want you to hopefully one day be comfortable to take this practice maybe into a studio. Or if you want to stay doing it at home, I want to go over a few of the props. Well, let's start off with the first basic one. The yoga mat. So many yoga mats that you can choose from. I practice on a jade yoga mat. For this flow, I'm not going to ask you to use a mat. I'm not going to use mine. I just want you to know that there are mats. There are all kinds of mats. They have anti-slip mats if you're going to do it in a hot room, or you can just get like a mat at Target, whatever floats your boat. I like jade. That's my mat. Okay. Also, there's something called blankets. If you go to a yoga studio, you're going to see these little Mexican blankets at most yoga studios. It's COVID-19 right now, so most of them aren't using props, but I want you to be familiar with this prop. This prop is awesome. At the end, there's something called Shavasana, where you just lay down on your back. You make it a little cold, so you can grab a blankie and put it over you. You can use any blanket to do this. So at the beginning of each flow, I'm going to tell you, hey, you need a pillow and a blankie. Get whatever you have, like off your bed, on your couch. But at a yoga studio, you're going to see these. People, what they'll do with them most commonly, like I said, is cover themselves up, or they'll prop it like right underneath the tush, right here. And what's really nice is it takes some of that hip compression out of it. And sometimes it feels really good on the lower back. So that's an option too. You'll see that used often in the yoga class. So this is a blankie. Next, a block. Now this is a cork block. You'll see blocks of this size. You'll see blocks half the size, but a lot of yoga studios, they'll use something called a block. What this is awesome for different things. And I'm not going to ask you to get a block for my flows. Just use like a pillow or two pillows, and that's fine. But in a studio, you'll see a block. Blocks are typically used to bring the ground up to you. So if you're in certain positions and you can't quite touch the ground, you're like, I'm so close, my hand's right here. You can get a prop and you're like, and now see, I automatically started opening. I'm reaching for the ground, I'm kind of closed off here. Get a block, it's great. So the block is usually to bring the ground up to you. Ain't no shame using a block. Blocks are awesome. There's also something in a studio that they often use, and that's called a yoga strap. I can't find mine right now. But a yoga strap, it just looks like a really long strap, and you strap it around your feet. Sometimes we'll use it with our arms. I'm sorry I don't have one to show you, but you can always Google yoga strap and see what that looks like. So that's the stuff. I'm going to tell you what you need ahead of time. For this flow, you need nothing. Like I said, I'm not even doing it on a mat. However, if you have sensitive knees and coming to all fours kind of hurts your knees, I would grab something like a blankie or something to put under your knees. A towel is good too. Okay, so there are different, I have my little checklist right here. There are different styles of yoga. Different styles. There are ones where you won't even get off the mat. You're just laying on the mat. That's awesome. That's typically a yin class where you don't do any standing postures. A yin, think of like a yin yang. So a yang or a yang, I can speak. A yin class is very subdued and relaxed. It's meant to stretch out connective tissue, but mostly what we're going to be doing together is a basic flow or a slow flow. You'll notice that I don't do really fast classes. That's something called a vinyasa or power flow, where it's almost like a breath per movement, and it's like 1, 2, 3, and it's very quick. You get your heart rate up, you get a great workout. If that's what you're into, you may want to look at a vinyasa or power class. I teach more of a basic class or a slow flow class. I take my time to get into the postures. We move a little bit slower, a little bit more mindfully. So those are some difference between like a yin, where it's very stretchy, to a vinyasa or power, which is very movement, dynamic oriented. And then the class you'll be doing with me is somewhere in between that. We're gonna move, we're gonna breathe, but we're gonna go fast, more than yin, but less than the vinyasa. So we're gonna go somewhere in between. And you'll also notice I like to layer mental health stuff on there because y'all know that's my background. Okay, so those are the different kinds of classes. Well, something to expect. The teacher's gonna come in, he or she or they are going to give you an opening where you're kind of get grounded or centered. There are usually some kind of warm-ups involved. And then you start to move a little bit more. And then you move to this like more peak part of the class where you're in longer holds or you're maybe moving a little bit faster. And then the teacher usually brings it down again where you cool down. And then you end in something called shavasana. It's where you usually lay on your back, palms open, but you can take your shavasana on your side or even on your belly. And that's when you either, one, just totally listen to your body. See how it feels after you just did all those yoga postures. 2, you can meditate, so I'll offer you meditations. 3, just lay there. Just lay there and try to calm down. I'm leery to use the word relax, but try to just lay on the ground and be in the present moment as best you can. That being said, we're gonna do some meditating, and I'm gonna add as you go on longer and longer meditations. Meditation isn't easy. Meditation's really hard. No one just sits down and they're like, all of a sudden I'm just a really good meditator. So please be gentle with yourself. You'll notice that it's rarely called a yoga workout. It's called a yoga practice, a meditation practice, because your mind wanders off to what you're gonna have for dinner, or it wanders off to that person who really made you angry. And the idea is just to bring it back. Caught myself, come back to my body. Let's come back to the breath. Let's come back to what Laura's saying because she's trying to keep me here. So please don't beat yourself up. Know that this is a practice. Know it takes a long time to cultivate, and that's part of it. That's the training of the mind. Wandering off, time to bring it back. All right. I want to go over the last thing, and then we'll start to kind of move around and stuff. I want to go over something called ahimsa. Ahimsa, it's yoga philosophy. But ahimsa, in this regard, is to not hurt yourself on the mat. To not hurt your body on the mat. If I'm calling a posture and you're like, oh, that does not feel right in my hip. You got some hip issues or just doesn't feel good. It feels like painful. It feels like tingly, electrical. It feels like something is wrong. Pop, not good. That's the difference. That's pain. Now a little stretching of the muscle, that's okay. If you feel a muscle burning, that's good too. That's your muscle working. We like that. But tingly pain or something, if it's a pain that goes like from all the way down your leg or up your back, that's not for you. If you feel achiness in the knees or achiness somewhere, just let the posture go. That's ahimsa. It's non-harming. Don't harm yourself on your mat. I hope that makes sense. In order to follow ahimsa though, I feel like teachers neglect to say this. You gotta listen to your inner teacher. You gotta listen to that little voice inside of you saying, it's time to stop. Because your ego is gonna be like, let's go. It's okay, we're good. But you know that something's not good, so listen to that inner teacher, listen to them. And when it says, I don't like option 3, even option 1 doesn't feel good, it's okay to sit out on that posture. It's not a big deal. And before you know it, you're gonna know a modification for that posture that works for you. And that's part of the practice. So you're just starting out, you're just gonna start to explore. This is very new. Typically you'd walk into a class and the teacher would call out something, you could look around and see what everyone else is doing. So I'm gonna practice with you so you're like, a what dog? And you can see what I'm doing. So just pretend like we're in a class together, you're kind of looking around, feeling it out. It feels awkward at first. Yoga is weird at first, and then you get it, it clicks. But it's a little weird, so come at this as like a child, playful. Who cares? Let go of how I look and just feel it in your body. I'm gonna look different than you because my body is different than yours. My injuries are different than yours. My genetics different than yours. So please keep that in mind. My shapes will look different than your shapes. Let go of how it's supposed to look and tune into how it's supposed to feel. It should feel good. It should feel like stretching or maybe a burning of the muscle. Not pinchy, not bone and bone compression. All right, let's start, shall we? I'm gonna put this list away and I recommend grabbing some water. Water's always good, but putting that in a place you're not gonna kick it over. However, we knock stuff over in yoga. It's what happens. This would be a good time to start that Spotify playlist if you haven't already. If you have, start it over. It'll flow a little bit better. Okay, this is gonna be your first yoga class. Be playful, be a kid again, be open. Let's see what happens. Sound good? All right, so here's an option. This is called Sukhasana, easy pose. But if this doesn't feel easy, if this hurts, if your knees are like up here, that's when you can grab blankies and pillows. I'm gonna grab something off my couch. Blankies and pillows, and prop yourself up. So feel free to do that. If this doesn't feel good to you, plant your feet and we're here. Whichever way you wanna start. This is fine. This is fine. If you wanna straighten your legs out, that's fine. However you wanna start out, that's comfortable. All right. Maybe if it doesn't feel awkward to you, take your gaze down. Maybe you close your eyes. Maybe you start to notice all the sounds around you first. Maybe someone's talking, or your refrigerator just turns on. Maybe notice if there's a smell in the air. Take a deep breath in. Now from here, notice how your body feels today. Notice if there's any pain. Maybe you deal with chronic pain. Notice if there's any feelings of openness or strength. If chronic pain is something that you deal with, search the body for a place that doesn't hurt and maybe focus there. If you'd like, start to breathe. Just notice that you're breathing, not changing it, not judging it, but just breathing. Maybe feel your chest expand on your inhales. Maybe you feel a cool sensation on the tip of your nose on your inhales. We are going to practice something called Dirga Pranayama. That's just 3-part breath. So if you would, take your hands to your belly. Now this is a complex part of the body. So if anything comes up mentally as you put your hands over your belly, like, I hate my stomach, or my stomach feels good today, just notice what comes up. And from here, take your inhale and instead of expanding the chest out, breathe from your belly. So what you're going to do is balloon your belly on your inhale. So breathing in through the belly. Exhaling out of the mouth. If you're not sure what that means, go ahead and open your eyes and take a look at my belly. Take a look at my inhale. See how it rounds, and my exhale, and it's more flat-ish. So I'm inhaling from here, rather not from here, not going. We're inhaling from here. So inhale from your belly. Exhale out of the mouth. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhaling for 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhaling for 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. One more time on your own. From here, maybe open your eyes. Bring your hands down to your thighs. Welcome to your first yoga class. Take your arms out to a T, palms up. Inhale, reach up, gaze goes up. Bring your palms together. Exhale, bring it down the midline like you're praying. Good. Inhale, reaching out and up, palms touch. Exhale, down the midline. Inhale once more. And when you're ready, exhale, hands come into heart center. From here, bring your hands on your thighs. We're going to come into something called Anahata Kriya, right chest to right knee. Roll around, left chest, left knee. Option to keep the back straight. Option to keep your shoulders rolled forward. You decide what works for you. Coming into these circles. Anahata Kriya. Anahata is heart. So taking your heart, spinning it around. Feel free to pause somewhere that feels really good. Feel free to play with having a straight back or keeping your shoulders rolled forward. Continue to breathe here. And then let's take these circles in the opposite direction. Notice if there's any pops or cracks happening. It's all good. Take one last cycle. I'll meet you in the middle with a tall spine. Good. From here, take your hands out in front of you, walking your hands away from your body, maybe folding down. Option 1 is to stay here. And I even will tent my fingers down on the ground if I need a little bit more space. If you feel really open, option 2 is to come down to forearms. Instead of cranking your neck up, maybe stare down at your hands. Notice where you feel this in your body. Take a deep breath here. And walk your hands back towards your body. And just to make this even more awkward than it already can be, bring your back foot in front. And again, walk your hands nice and slowly away from your body, folding over your legs. Again, stay on your hands, come to your forearms. It's your practice, you decide. Please don't try to strive to look like what I'm doing, even though you can only see half my body. From here, if you like, you can take your hands over to the right. So walking your hands over to the right, feeling that lovely stretch on the left side. And when you feel ready, walk your hands back to center and walk fingertips over to the left side. If your right butt cheek comes off the mat, maybe walk your hands more towards the center. That means you overdid it. Just listen to that inner teacher. Notice how it feels to open up the sides of our body. There's not many things we do throughout the day that opens the side of that body up. Come back to center and walk your hands back up tall. Palms open, TM out. Inhale, gaze goes up. Exhale, down the midline. Inhale, big sun breath. That's what this is called. Exhale, down the midline. One more time, big sun breath. Exhale, down the midline. Bring your left hand to right knee, right hand behind your back. Not an intense back stretch yet, just to feel our back. Take a deep breath here, maybe one of those 3-part breaths. And walk your right hand over to your left knee and take a little bit of a twist on this side. Nothing too intense yet. Keep it gentle. We're still warming up. Bring your hands back to center. We're going to roll over our knees to all fours. This is called tabletop pose. Hands are underneath shoulders, knees are under hips, and untuck your toes. So you're not like this, you're like this. Now this is when the patella can hurt. That's when the knees can hurt. So if you need something, bring it under your knees here. Spread your fingers out nice and wide. Really press into the tops of your feet. We're going to come into some cat-cow. So what you're going to do is push your belly down to the ground. Gaze goes up. Collarbone opens. And on your exhale, dome the spine. Gaze goes maybe to your knees or to your toes. Imagine your shoulder blades opening. When you feel ready, drop the belly. Inhale, gaze goes up, shoulders go back. And exhale, dome the spine. Gaze goes to your knees or toes. Open up the shoulders. Continue this on your own terms. Pausing where it feels good. Tuning into your inner teacher here. What's this feel like? From here, come into neutral spine. So that's a flat back. It's somewhere in between what we just did. So that's a nice little flat back. And what we're gonna do first is extend our right arm out. Bring our right fingertips to our shoulders and circle out those arms. Make them as big or small as you'd like. Hello, shoulders, and your upper back. Notice if it feels tight. Take this in the opposite direction, other way. Notice how I'm like, this kind of feels awkward. From here, reach your arm up. Right arm goes in between left wrist and left knee. Reach it. And so the top of our hand is in between. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, thread it through. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, thread it through, thread the needle. What we're gonna do is bring our right shoulder down to the ground and lay our head down on the ground. Option 1 is to stay here. Option 1 is take the left hand and reach it towards the front of your mat, if you have one. Take some breaths here. This is called thread the needle. Bring your left hand back, reach your right hand up towards the sky. Gaze can follow if the neck feels okay. And bring that right hand down. If your knees are hurting, grab something, grab something. Take your left fingertips, bring them to your shoulder, rock that shoulder around. Come back to your breath here. Take your circles in the opposite direction. And then reach that left hand up towards the sky. Thread it through halfway, just so the top of the hand touches the ground. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, thread it through halfway. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, halfway. Inhale, reach it up. And we're going to thread through all the way until our shoulder comes down. And if it doesn't feel good for your shoulder to come down, then stay halfway. All good. Let go of what the shape's supposed to look like if you can. Take the right hand, walk it to the front if you want it. You can notice how that feels on your body. If it feels awesome and a-okay, stay there. If it doesn't, walk it back. It's all good. Take a 3-part breath. Inhaling for 3 seconds, exhaling for 3 seconds. When you feel ready, unravel. Left hand goes up. And then come on back down to tabletop, all fours. From here, extend your right leg out behind you, toes down, and bring the ball of the foot down to the ground. Fingers are wide here. So what we're going to do is rock forward to backward, just like this. You may feel this, or hopefully you feel this in your calf muscle. It's such an intense calf muscle stretch, but we're just warming it up right now. Now, if your hands or wrists are already hurting, what I would recommend is taking your fingers and rotating them out just slightly, not like this, maybe more like this. Unless you got some joint stuff going on and you do want to flex it that way. I know I've got some of you who have some fun joint stuff going on. And once you feel ready, bring that heel down to the ground. It shouldn't go, but just pretend like you are and hold it. Oh yeah, hello calf. Now if your heel goes down to the ground, then I don't know, maybe you don't have an Achilles. And then from here, float that foot, bend the knee, and open that hip. And do some hip circles here. We're just doing a lot of circles today. I'm just gently warming up that body. So make these as big or small as you want. If you feel your hip popping and it doesn't feel good, then make them smaller or don't do it. Take it in the opposite direction. Kind of have to tell your mind, okay, opposite direction. And when you feel ready, right knee meets the left knee. Extend it out, toes down. Awesome. Ball of the foot comes down to the ground and rock front to back just slightly. Nothing too bouncy. We're not going fast. We're just going slow here. Now, if your wrists are hurting still, some options are to bring a towel underneath your hands to take out maybe some of that flexion. Or it could be because you're just dumping all your weight into your hands. Can you press away from the ground, engage the core here, and not just sink it all down? Can you engage here? All right, from here we're gonna find stillness. So rock that heel back, and hello gastroc. That's your calf muscle. Take some deep breaths. Notice if it was tighter or looser on the other side. And then from here, float that left leg, bend that knee, and open that hip. Awesome. And then make some knee circles here. Make them the size that feels good to you. It's not about me, it's about your practice. Now take these knee circles in the opposite direction. See how that feels. Left knee meets the right. And we're going to come into something called child's pose. There's 2 different ways to take this. One, Big toes are together, knees are out. You come back to sit on your feet and you walk your hands down. Your forehead comes down to the ground. If that doesn't feel good in your hips, close the knees, keep the big toes together, and fold over that way, reaching out in front of you. This is child's pose. Whenever you feel like you need a break, please come to your child's pose. Lovely pose. In your child's pose, if your shoulders are feeling it, doesn't feel good in your shoulders, feel free to reach back and touch your heels. And that takes all the pressure away from your shoulder, and it gives you more of a nice back opening. From here, we're going to come into our first downward facing dog. So what we're going to do is come to all fours once more. Tabletop. Fingers are wide, they're underneath our shoulders, knees are under our hips. Tuck your toes under. Use your core here and lift your knees off the mat. Awesome. What I'm going to do is press back. My booty's going up. My legs are starting to straighten and I'm pressing away from the ground. All right, let's start here. Let's start with our feet. So what you're going to do is have your feet about hip width distance apart. If this hurts your lower back, take them wider. That works too. Take them wider. It's not a big deal. So what you're thinking here is keep a nice bend in the knee. If your hamstrings feel like they're getting pulled too tightly, keep that bend in the knees. Not a big deal. What you want to think about is chest to thigh. So I'm not out here in like a push-up. I'm not in a push-up. My booty's in the air. I'm proud of what I got. And I'm thinking chest to thigh. It should not go there, but just think that, chest to thigh, rather than like a push-up. Okay. So from here, I'm reaching forward. My fingers are spread very wide. My core is engaged. So again, I'm not just dumping all my weight into my hands. I got my core engaged and I'm pressing away from the ground. My head is heavy. This is our downward facing dog. From here, start to walk your feet out. Sort of like what we were doing in all fours when I had you walking. So walk that dog out. This is walking your dog. Now, if you feel like the blood rushing to your head is just too intense, tabletop. That's a great alternative. In your downward dog, shift your hips left to right. We're still warming up that body. Good. Play around with your down dog. Be childlike. Let go of what the pose should look like. Tune into what it feels like. From here, step your big toes together and walk your feet towards your hands to the top of the mat if you have one. Bring your feet about hip width distance apart. Clasp opposite elbows here and kind of sway left to right. If you have to, bring your hands to the back of your head and make sure your head is heavy. Make sure that head is heavy. And then you can kind of let go of your hands. Maybe your fingertips graze the ground. Keep a bend in the knees. If your hamstrings feel tight, that's that muscle in the upper back part of our leg. Just heard my knee pop. It's all good. From here, bring your hands to your shins and start to straighten that back out. This is called a half lift. Ardha Uttanasana, just half lift. And your exhale, that's your forward fold. Feel free to bend the knees still. So remember, half lift, so come to your half lift, flat back. And your exhale is your forward fold. Bend your knees, maybe your hands come down. And if your half lift and forward fold look really similar, if your hamstrings are tight, who cares? Take that pressure off. From here, bring your hands to your shins. Keep up a generous bend in the knee. Hands to thighs. Hands to hips. And slowly roll on up. Welcome to standing. Bring your feet about hip width distance apart. Open up your palms to the front. Bring your shoulders away from the ground. This is called mountain pose, Tadasana. We're going to take a big sun breath in like we did at the beginning. So inhale. Tee your palms out, reach it up. Exhale, hands down the midline. Take a big sun breath in again. Inhale. Exhale down the midline. Inhale, reach it up, gaze goes up. Exhale, forward fold all the way down. Inhale for a half lift, flat back. Exhale, bend the knees enough and walk your hands out to a plank pose. From here, come down to your knees, untuck your toes, lower all the way down to your chest. Awesome. Sorry. My microphone. Press the tops of the feet into the ground. Hands are underneath shoulders. My elbows are together, or not together, but they're in. They're not just flailing out. And I'm going to come into a low cobra. So press into your palms. Chest comes off the mat. If this is too much, come back down. Spread your legs out wider. Now come up. Inhale. Low cobra. Exhale, come back down. Feet come together. Untuck your toes. Press up to plank. But don't do this in this like weird, like lazy plank way. Like engage your core, press up to plank. Awesome. Downward dog. Cool. Feel free to walk out. Feel free to sashay your hips. And we're going to try that again. So it almost becomes automatic. So from here, bring big toes together. Walk your feet to your hands. Nice and slow. We're in no rush. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. From here, bring your hands to your shins. Hands to your thighs. Hands to hips. And slowly roll up. Head's the last thing to come up. Inhale for big sun breath. Exhale, forward fold all the way down. Bend the knees. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, walk your hands out to a plank. You got this. From here, tuck your toe or bring your knees down, tuck toes back. Come all the way down to your tummy. Inhale, low cobra, elbows are together. From here, tuck toes under, press up to plank pose. And downward facing dog. Oh, that was awesome. Good job. All right, we're gonna add on to that a little bit here. So bring your big toes together and bring your right leg off the ground and behind you. This is called three-legged dog. Do you remember how we bent the knee and opened the hip and table? So give that a try. Cool. Well done. From here, bring that knee in as close as you can to your chest. Now try to get it through your hands. It may not go, and that's fine. If your foot lands somewhere like here, pick it up and put it between your hands, okay? You're good. You're totally good. Stay on the ball of that back foot. Reach behind you. Engage your core. Come on up. Crescent pose. Front leg is bent. We're reaching up here. So I'm on the ball of my back foot. My front knee is bent. It could be 90. It could be just a little bit, but not straight. Keep a little bend in the knee and reaching up here. Now, this is tight on the shoulders. I like to come to a cactus. So your options for your hands are straight up. I like to spin pinkies in. That helps my shoulders. Or I cactus the arms out, and that really opens up my chest. Awesome. If none of this feels good, hands into prayer, and that works too. This is called Crescent Warrior. It's strong. You're like, I know, my thigh is burning. Get me out of this, lady. All right, so from here, we're gonna bring our hands and frame that front foot. Step back into plank pose. Lower down to your bellies all the way down. Be strong here. Engage your core all the way down. Untuck your toes. Elbows together. Low cobra, or take it wide. From here, tuck toes under, press up to plank. Downward dog. Starting to feel it now. Walk your dog, shift around if you need it. Grab some water if you need it. You're doing awesome. When you feel ready, bring your big toes together. Left leg comes up this time. Bend the knee, open the hip. Good. If this hurts, then don't do it. Now bring that knee into your chest as close as you can. Now, if you can, bring that foot in between the hands. Remember, if it's lands somewhere in the middle, pick it up and put it there. You'll get it eventually. From here, take your arms back. Engage your core slowly. Come on up for your crescent. Arms can be in whatever variation you'd like. Now, crescent pose. Front knee's bent, back leg is straight-ish. It can be bent a little bit. That's totally fine. You're feeling it in your hip flexor on the right side. If you don't, maybe try tucking your booty more forward. You should feel this in the right hip flexor. If you're like, no, I feel it everywhere, that's fine too. Take your hands, frame that foot, step back into plank pose. Lower down to your knees, untuck toes, lower down to your chest. Low cobra, untuck toes, plank pose. Downward dog. From here, bend your knees, walk your feet to your hands. Inhale, come up to a half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold, bend the knees as much as you need. Inhale, bring hands to shins, hands to thighs, hands to hips, and roll on up. Awesome. Inhale, big sun breath up. Exhale, hands come down the midline, forward fold. We're gonna add on. Inhale to a half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold, bend the knees as much as you need. Inhale, half lift, flat back. You're like, I got this one now. Exhale, plant the palms, step back into plank. Lower down either knees or all the way down to the belly. Come up for your low cobra. Downward facing dog. How does this feel in your body? You feeling the burn? You feeling your heart rate? All right, step big toes together. Keep in mind, you can always come into child's pose if you need a break. Right leg goes behind you, bend the knee, open the hip. Right foot in between the hand. You know what to do. Pick it up to get it there if you have to. Stay on the ball of the back foot, reach it back. Inhale, reach it up. Hands in any variation you'd like. We're coming into warrior two now. So that back foot, those toes are going to open to the left side of the room. Point them away from your body. So your toes should be facing away from your butt. There we go. Okay? Front knee is still bent, back leg is straight. Arms are extended here. Now, if this is too much on the shoulders, you can go palm up, and that's totally fine. This is your warrior two. Pretty strong, huh? Awesome. So here are some things to look out for in your warrior two. Stay there. I just want to show you a couple things. You don't want your knee in like this. That's gonna hurt. Bring your knee over that ankle. That is our warrior two. Again, palms can be up, palms can be down. Now, our fingers aren't just kind of hanging out here. Our fingers are strong. They're engaged. Like if I were to come and give you a high five, your hands aren't going anywhere. Awesome. I know you're tired. Straighten that front leg out. Ooh, right? From here, we're going to come into a reversed warrior. So bend that front leg again. I know that lactic acid hopefully has gone away. Take this back hand, wrap it around the lower back. Reach out in front of you, palms up, and reach behind you. Don't forget the bend in the knee in the front. Reaching behind you, reverse warrior. Awesome. From here, come back to warrior two. You're doing so good. Bring your front forearm to your thigh and bring your left arm or your back arm up towards the sky. Or you can rainbow it over and reach out in front of you. Option with your gaze can go down at your foot or up on your armpit and maybe give it a smell. This is extended side angle. Let's come back up, warrior two, and take reverse warrior. So back arm, reach it forward, palm up, take it back. I know that thigh is burning. I hear ya. Come back to warrior two. Come into your extended side angle. Good. From here, come back to your warrior two. You're like, when is this gonna end? And what we're gonna do is come to the ball of that back foot. So coming back into our crescent warrior. Sweet, good job. Frame that front foot. Step it back to plank. Lower down, knees are all the way to your belly. Come up for your low cobra. Downward facing dog. Awesome. Big toes together. Left leg comes up. Bend the knee, open that hip. Left foot in between the hands. Rise for your crescent. Take your own arm variation. We're going to open up to warrior two now. So back toes spin, back foot spins open, toes away from booty, front knee is still bent, arms are straight. Warrior two. We're looking over our front arm. I'm just looking at you. All right, from here we're going to extend it or reverse your warrior. Back arm wraps around, reach it forward, palm up, take it back. Don't forget the bend in the back knee or in the front knee. Gaze can go up towards the sky or back towards your back leg or back foot. Come back through warrior two. Front arm, Cheeto chop, bring it to your thigh. Reach your other arm over, extended side angle. Gaze can go up, gaze can go down. Come back through warrior two. Reverse that warrior. Take a deep breath here. I know you're feeling it. Come back through warrior two. Extended side angle. You'll get a break for your legs soon. From here, come back to warrior two. Come back to crescent warrior. So I'm coming to the ball of the back foot here. Reaching it up. Whoops. Hands come down. Come into your plank. Take your flow your way. So that's all the way to the belly or on the knees. Come into your low cobra. And exhale, press it back, child's pose your way. Feel free to grab some water here. We're going to add on to that flow one more time. And then we're going to stretch it out and meditate and you're good. So get your mind around doing that one more time. I know you may be tired and hot and your body may be saying, woo, I'm working. But if it feels good, like I'm working hard, I'm feeling okay, then take the options I give you. If not, take the other options. It's totally fine. Totally all good. So from here, let's all meet in downward facing dog. Big toes together. Right leg comes up behind you for three-legged dog. Bend the knee, open the hip. Awesome. Right foot in between the hands. Rise for crescent. Moving nice and slow. We're in no rush. Arms in whatever variation you need. From here, open up for warrior two. Go slow. We're in no rush here. Good. Take a look at that knee. Is it tracking over that ankle or is it in or is it out? Make sure it's all right. From here, reverse. So back arm wraps around, front arm reaches forward, palm up, take it back. Don't forget the bend in the front knee. Sometimes my yoga teacher will come over and sit on it. I won't do that to you. Come back through warrior two, extended side angle. So front forearm on the thigh, reach it up or around. Gaze can go down or up. From here, come back to warrior two. Straighten that front leg. Now I have to walk my back foot up a couple inches. We're coming into triangle pose. So reach it forward over that front leg. Reach it, reach it, reach it. Booty should pop out. So don't just try to tuck it. Let it come out. Take your right hand, bring it to your shin. Option 1 is we're here. Option 2, you can reach your arm up. Option 3, you can reach your arm around. Option 4, wrap it around the lower back. See where it feels good to you. Now, this is triangle pose. Some people love this pose and some people say this is way too much sensation. If it's way too much sensation to you, walk this back foot up even more. Maybe come up a little bit higher on your shin, and maybe don't lift your arm up. Those are some options that you could try to make it actually nice. We're not doing this to hurt. From here, keep that front leg straight and bring your arms out like you're in a warrior 2. We're going to take a reverse triangle now. Back arm wraps around, lower or up front arm reaches back. From here, do you feel that foot on the ground, that front foot on the ground? It's almost, if you can focus enough, can you feel that energy from the foot going all the way up that side body and reaching out towards your fingertips? Oh, it's amazing. From here, come back through center, come into Trikonasana, triangle pose again. Take your options here. What feels good to you? Do you see how open my chest is? So hopefully you're not reaching for the ground and your chest is totally rolled forward. The goal here, I guess you want to call it, is to keep the chest a little bit more open. Come back to center. If your arm's already tucked behind your lower back, keep it there. Bring your front arm up and around for reverse Trikonasana. From here, come back into your warrior 2. Flow right through it. So forget it, I got you, we're here. Come into your extended side angle one more time on this side. Good. And reverse your warrior 2 for good measure. Come back through center, cartwheel your hands down, step back into plank, take your flow. I'm going to see you in downward dog. Take it your way. From here, bring big toes together, left leg comes up, bend the knee, open the hip. Bring that foot in between the hands. Again, take your hand, step it in between the hands if you have to. Come up for your crescent warrior. Stay on the ball of the back foot. Front leg is bent. Back leg is straightish, but you can bend it, that works. From here, open up, warrior 2. You got this. Good. Nice. From here, we're going to come into that reverse warrior. So back arm around the lower back. Reach it forward. Palm up. Take it back. Keep a bend in that front knee. Come through center. Extended side angle. You're going to have this down packed by the time we're done. Come back to center here. Straighten the front leg. Now if that pulls up the ankle or anywhere in the hamstring or groin, walk that back foot up. That's fine. So the back toes are still in your warrior 2. Arms are out. Reach it towards your front leg. Reach, reach, reach. Let it pop out and then fold over that front shin. Hand can come to your shin and the other arm can reach it up. Gaze can go up. Gaze can go down. Hand can stay down. Hand can wrap around the lower back. Whatever works for you. Shorten up the stance. Sometimes I'll even take my front toes and point them more inside. I'm bow-legged, so things feel funny sometimes. Find your way. Wiggle around until you figure it out. It should not hurt. That's not the goal here. And if this just doesn't feel good at all, you can just stand on up. And that's fine too, because standing up like this, I feel it in my hip flexor and that feels good. We're not taking this too seriously. We're just feeling it in our body. So where do you feel it in your body? We're going to reverse our triangle now. So come back through center. If your arm's already wrapped around your lower back, great. If not, get it there. Take your front arm, reach it up and around. From here, come back through center. Take your triangle pose. Take it your way, not my way, your way. Take one more deep breath here. Pop out the belly. Come back, reverse your Trikonasana. Come back through center, bend that front knee. You know where we're going? We're coming into that extended side angle and reverse warrior. Back arm reaches around, front knee is bent, reach it back. And if you feel any tugging at the lower back, just come a little bit more center. You don't have to be dramatic. Just come right around here. That's totally fine too. And then we're going to come into extended side angle. Front forearm on the thigh. We're reaching up. We're not reaching at all. We're reaching around. Find your way. When you feel ready, come back through center. Reach it around. Cartwheel the hands down. Frame the foot. Take your flow. Do it your way. I'll see you in downward facing dog. From here, drop down to your knees. Grab a glass of water or come into your child's pose. In your child's pose, go ahead and walk your fingertips over to the right. If you want even more of a stretch, you can take the left hand over the right wrist. Bow your head down. Breathe nice and deeply. See how this feels in your body. If it doesn't feel good, you can walk your hands more towards the center. You can add cushion underneath your knees. If it felt better to do this seated, you could try that. Or not quick to move right now. When you feel ready, walk your hands over to the left-hand side. And again, if you want something a little bit deeper, you take your right hand over your left wrist. You've learned so much. You know what yoga is, sort of. You know some postures. You know how to breathe with your belly. Diaphragmatic breath. You're getting there. Notice how this feels in your body, so come back to your body. Reach it out in front, walk your hands back towards your body and come to a seated position. From here, take your legs out wide, or your wide may look different than my wide. So your legs may be wider, your legs may be more together. Doesn't matter. Point your toes up. You want to wiggle those toes, high feet. And what we're gonna do is walk our hands over to that right foot. So what I'm doing is I'm squaring off my chest as much as I can to that right leg. And y'all, my hands don't go to my feet and I'm a yoga teacher. It's all good. We all are different. Now, if this is pulling on your hamstrings at all, that muscle right back here, You can take a little blanket or a pillow and prop it under that knee. So go ahead and break it up. If your lower back is hurting, that's when you can bring a blanket underneath your tush and it kind of rocks you forward. Try those. But square your chest off to that front leg and start to walk your hands down that leg. As soon as you feel a pull in either your back or your hamstring, that's when you stop. That's when you stop. Now, if this doesn't feel good in your back is like, owie, go get a blanket. Go get a blanket right now. It doesn't have to hurt. Come back to your breath here. Come back to how this feels in your body. Come back to what it feels like to actually move, but not with what I'm telling you to do, but just how it feels. Do you notice the difference between do this and try this? Try this. See how this feels in your body? What yoga is trying to teach us is, what does this feel like to me? Emotionally, mentally, physically. So this class has been a lot about how do I feel in my body? When you feel ready, walk your hands back up your leg. And then square that chest as much as you can off on the other side. If you're on the other side, not a big deal. As much as you can. And slowly walk your hands down your leg until you feel the pull with the hamstring or the back. And when it says that's enough, you stay there. Maybe if you'd like, you can come back to that breathing, that 3-part breath. Even though you're hunched over like this, you can still puff out the belly a little bit. If you're feeling any hip compression here, walk your hands back towards your body. It's all good. Walk your hands up your legs. Take your hands behind your knees and then pick them up. Bring them back together. Awesome. Bring the soles of the feet together. And open up your knees. All right, so option 1, the hardest option, is to keep them really close. So if this doesn't feel good to you, make more of a diamond shape. Scoot your feet away. Right? Feels a little bit better for some of us. So it's more of a diamond shape rather than like that. It's really tight. So we're here. Option 1 is we're here. Option 2, if you'd like, you can walk your hands and fold as much as you want. Just until your body says, I feel a stretch there, so it's time to stop. Now that we've slowed down, this is when the mind likes to drift. And that's okay, but I'm just going to gently remind you to maybe bring it back. Bring it back to your breath. You can bring it back to your body. How does this feel? You can count your inhales and your exhales. But where can you feel it? Walk your hands back towards your body. Take the hands underneath the knees, scoop them up. And if you have a mat, scoot to the front of your mat. Reach towards the computer, reach towards me, I'm reaching towards you, and come all the way down to your back. Nice and slow, don't just plop down. From here, we're going to come into bridge pose. So take your hands down by your side. On your inhale, bring your booty off the ground. Option 1 is you stay here. This is bridge pose. Option 2, if you'd like it, bring your hands behind your tush and walk your shoulders underneath. This is another option of bridge pose. Wherever you are, just breathe in your bridge pose. If this hurts at all, bring your bridge pose a little further down. This isn't comfortable for everybody. You can also experiment with bringing your feet out wider, maybe pointing your toes in or toes out. You can walk your feet in closer. Experiment with the same. See what works for you. All our bodies are so different. From here, lower booty down. Take your hands away if they're underneath you. Bring your knees into your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins and press your lower back down into the ground. Feels like your spine just got longer. From here, take your right leg out straight-ish. If you want to keep a bend in the knee like me, feel free. Take your left foot and come into a figure 4. Take your hands around your right hamstring, so that right leg, and then bend at the knee here. Keep that left foot flexed rather than just hanging out, so keep it nice and flexed. And if you want, you can draw this closer into the chest. If your body says, no, too much, then loosen it back up. You'll probably feel this in the hips. Remember to keep your feet engaged. We're going to be here for a few more breaths, so settle in. Notice what this feels like. Come back to spending time with yourself. You're pretty cool. No need to get distracted. From here, unravel that figure 4. Bring your feet down to the ground. Bring your knees over to the right. Now rock them over to the left. And rock them back and forth. We call this windshield wiper. Just to kind of shake out that stretch. And let's take that figure 4 on the other side. So left leg goes straightish. Right leg figure 4s. Arms reach behind the left hamstring, bend at the knee. Option 1 is to draw everything closer in. Option to keep it further away. The goal here is just to feel and to feel good. So keep those feet flexed. See if you feel some sort of stretch on the outer hip. Maybe the glute area. Just depends. We're going to be here for a few breaths. So you can even close your eyes, listen to the music, tune into your breath. Take your last breath. And plant your feet down towards the ground. Windshield wiper your legs out. From here, take both knees over to the right. If that doesn't feel comfortable at all, you can put a pillow in between your knees or step on the sole of the left foot. That's fine too. And what you're going to do is take your left arm and look over your left shoulder. This is called a spinal twist. Come back to your breath. Be serenaded by the songs. From here, bring your knees back to center, drop them over to the other side. And extend your right arm out, looking over your right shoulder, coming into a spinal twist on this side. Explore in your body where you can soften. Are your shoulders clenched? Is your mouth clenched? Where can you soften in your body? Where can you just surrender into this posture? Or are you hanging on really tight? From here, we're going to come into Shavasana, your final resting posture. So come to your back, let your legs flop open or your feet flop open. Legs can be as wide as you'd like. Arms can be reached out as wide as you'd like. Hands can come to belly or they can just be palm up. Whatever you need to make yourself comfortable for your Shavasana. Feel your body here. Yogis say this is the most important posture, is your Shavasana. Notice how the body feels after this practice. Where can you soften in your body? Now imagine here that you're laying down somewhere outside in nature. It could be in the forest or the beach. Imagine you're just laying somewhere totally stretched out. It's the perfect temperature out. It's your favorite time of day. Maybe you feel a slight breeze on your face. If you were laying outside, what would you hear? And what would it smell like? Where can you soften in your body? Is it the space in between the eyebrows? Can you relax your jaw? Can you draw your shoulders away from your ears, even if it's just a centimeter? Can you soften your waist, just surrendering into gravity? Can you soften your feet and your hands? Can you imagine there's a root growing out of your tailbone into the ground? And you're sinking deeper into the safe, solid earth. An option is just to stay here in your Shavasana for as long as you want. If you're ready to get up, you can start to wiggle fingers and toes, inviting gentle movements back into your body, maybe shifting left to right slightly. If you'd like, you can also roll over into the fetal posture on your favorite side. Feeling the ground hold you up here. If you want, you can press your hand into the top of the ground or on top of your mat and press yourself up to seated. Keeping your eyes down. If you're in Shavasana or sitting up, you can bring your hands into heart center if you want. And if you want, you can bring your thumbs in between your eyebrows, representing compassionate thoughts to yourself. Compassionate thoughts to other people. If you want, you can bring your thumbs to your lips, representing compassionate speech. Maybe a little bit less criticism coming out of your mouth and more acceptance. Thumbs to heart center if you want, for compassionate actions. Doing your yoga, getting enough sleep, water. And here I bow to you and say namaste. Namaste means my inner teacher acknowledges your inner teacher. It's a greeting or it's a farewell. Great job doing your first yoga class. So proud of you. Take this sense of ease and calmness through the rest of your day or night. I'm so happy for you.